What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 174 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the revival of the Divine Tree. So this episode started off with Konohamaru and Mujino fighting off against the Divine Tree, trying to prevent it from stealing their chakra. It actually stole a little bit of the feudal lord's chakra, but they were able to save him, and Mujino ended up having to save Konohamaru because one of Victor's employees, who seemed to be controlled or whatever, tried to attack Konohamaru, and he ended up hurting and wounding Mujino in the process. But Mujino kicked him off, and then they ended up having to escape. Then Konohamaru told Mujino to take the feudal lord to safety, and he was going to stay back and try to protect people from the Divine Tree. And yeah, so Mujino ended up leaving with the feudal lord. Konohamaru stayed behind and tried to save people from the Divine Tree, but it ended up being too late because the Divine Tree had already spread throughout the majority of Victor's laboratory, and it had killed pretty much all of his assistants. All of their chakras got drained. They all got wrapped up by that cloth from the Divine Tree, and their chakras was being absorbed, and they were pretty much dead at that point. So then Sarada and Boruto came in and helped fight off the Divine Tree and protect Konohamaru. And then Victor showed up, and he was talking about the Divine Tree, and Konohamaru asked him basically like, how do you create it? Like, is it a real Divine Tree or whatever? Is it really the Divine Tree? And Victor pretty much said that he used a splinter from the old Divine Tree from the 4th grade Ninja War arc to create the current, or the Divine Tree that he's using. Now, I seen in the synopsis that for this episode that it's actually a replica of the Divine Tree, so it's not a real Divine Tree essentially. But this explanation that Victor gave, that he just took a splinter from the old Divine Tree and he used that to create this one, it doesn't make much sense to me. Like, for anyone who's read the manga, you guys know what you actually need to do to create a Divine Tree. So this lackluster explanation, it just wasn't cutting it for me. I mean, granted, it was an explanation, but I don't like it too much. Now, granted, this is not a full-fledged Divine Tree. They even said that in this episode that it wasn't like a regular Divine Tree, but still, it just didn't. I didn't like the explanation too much, but at least we got an explanation. So then, it was also revealed that Victor's goal is to eat the fruit of the Divine Tree, and now obviously he's not going to do that. He's not going to be, like, it's pretty obvious he's not going to eat the fruit of the Divine Tree. But if he did, I'm pretty sure he would get like the third eye on his forehead, the same one Kagi has, the Renny Sharingan. And he's just a regular human. I mean, he has special powers. He has like body modifications, and extra arms and stuff like that. But he's still pretty strong. But we never seen like a regular human eat the fruit of the Divine Tree. That's something that usually Aotsutsuki do. So that would have been interesting seeing that, but it's most likely, I mean, obviously not gonna happen. So yeah, that was that. Victor also sent his assistant, who is a outer of Korra. He sent her after Mujino. He told her to kill Mujino and don't let them escape, Mujino and the feudal lord. So yeah, she ended up going to Mujino and tried to stop him from escaping towards the end of the episode, but then she ended up getting absolutely destroyed by Orochimaru. Now, I didn't like that scene either, because it's a couple reasons. For one, she's the outer of Korra. Now, granted, the outers of Korra, they're basically just a henchman of the actual inners of Korra, the true Korra members. But still, I wanted to see her fight. We are going to see more outers in the future, and a couple of them seem to be decent in strength. Like, as far as the manga go, we've seen a couple decently strong Korra members, outer Korra members. They had decent levels of power. Seemed like Jonin tier shinobi. But granted, there have been some weaker ones, like the ones we seen when this arc first started. So yeah, it's not necessarily guaranteed that the outers are strong, but still, I wanted to see her fight. It seemed like she was capable of fighting, and I wanted to see what she could do. and she just got obliterated by Orochimaru. Now, if Orochimaru killed her with one jutsu or something like that, I wouldn't mind. Like if he killed her, like if I actually seen what Orochimaru do, I wouldn't mind. But another thing that annoyed me about the scene was we didn't actually see exactly what he did. She just pretty much disappeared into dust, like Orochimaru used particle style or something. Obviously, Orochimaru doesn't have particle style, and he pretty much just like decimated her and obliterated her, just turned her into dust instantly. And I was like, wait, how did he do that? Like, am I missing? Like, what's going on? Like, how did he just instantly turn her into dust like that? Like I said, if he would have did like one jutsu or something like that, I wouldn't have mind at all. But he pretty much destroyed her instantly. So I wanted to see her fight, and I also just didn't like the way she was killed. Like I said, they should have actually showed us exactly what he did to kill her, like if he did a jutsu or what. But yeah, that was that. And also it seemed like he had Miski with him. Now Miski is, from last week's episode, it was revealed that Miski, he was essentially going to be on life support for a whole month. Like he had to stay in that bed and stay connected to those tubes for a whole month. And Log even had to put him to sleep because he was trying to go help Boruto and Sarada. But he was supposed to be like, he was supposed to be basically out of action for a whole month, healing up and being on those tubes or whatever. Now I'm pretty sure next week they're going to explain why Miski is, like, exactly what happened and why Miski's there. But from last week's episode, they say he's supposed to be out of commission basically for a whole month healing up on those tubes or whatever he was on. Now I'm curious to see exactly what Orochimaru did to speed up his recovery or get him to the point where he wouldn't need to be on life support essentially. I'm curious to see what Orochimaru did. Now it's not confirmed that was Miski with them, but it seems like it was Miski because he was shorter than Mujino. And who else would that be? And he was wearing Log's mask. Log, Miski's older brother, or, the older clone of Miski. He was wearing Log's mask. At first I thought it was Log, but yeah, he's shorter than Mujino, so it most likely is Miski. So, yeah, that was that. And then we also got the setup with Boruto and Sarada, their rematch against Deepa. That got set up. So Victor, he separated Konohamaru from Boruto and Sarada, and they ended up falling down to the main laboratory, and they saw all the people who was being experimented on there, those people who was in those tubes who were unconscious or probably even dead. And then Deepa showed up, and he was doing a lot of trash talking as usual, talking about, he kind of talks like a cannibal. Like he always talk about how Boruto and them are gonna taste or whatever. Now I don't think he's a cannibal because we seen him kill a lot of people, and he never ate those people that he killed. Obviously that wouldn't show anything like that anyways, but he seems to eat regular food, but he talks like a cannibal, talk about how things taste and stuff, and how Boruto and Sarada is gonna taste or whatever. So yeah, Boruto, he ended up asking Deepa, like, what is his motive? Is he trying to eat is he trying to eat the fruit of the divine tree just like Victor? Because that's Victor's motive. That was already revealed in this episode, that Victor wants to eat the fruit of the divine tree. And Boruto said, what's your motive? And Deepa said he just wants to taste things. He just wants to eat things. He wants to eat all the delicious things in the world or whatever. And that really made Boruto angry. Like, that really made him mad, because he was like, wait, so all of this, you've been doing all of this just for something like that? All those people you hurt just so you can taste food or taste stuff or taste and eat stuff? That really made Boruto mad. And they thought about all the people who was hurt during the course of this arc, and yeah, that really made Boruto mad. And Boruto and Sarada are now even more motivated to stop Deepa. And yeah, so nice little setup for that. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get at least a little bit of fighting in this episode. We really seen basically no fighting in this episode. They saved all of that for next week's episode, which is titled, like, I believe it's titled Going Beyond the Limits or something like that. So in next week's episode, it seemed like we're gonna get a couple of good fights. Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure I covered everything from this week's episode. Also, another thing is Mai or whatever her name is, Anato's wife. She ended up running to Victor's laboratory. I don't know why she did that. That was extremely stupid. Extremely stupid, especially when she see a lot of people is running away from there. And we all know Anato is dead. So I I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure Boruto told her in last week's episode that that Anato was essentially killed or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know why she's being stupid, but whatever. I really don't care about her. Now, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the majority. That's all that happened in the episode. So Mujino was saved by Orochimaru, and we got the explanation for the divine tree and how that was created. Like I said, he got like a splinter or a piece of the old divine tree, and he used it to create this one. And we're setting up to some great fights that are most likely. I mean, hopefully these fights are going to be great, and I think they are going to be great in next week's episode. So from the preview, it showed that Orochimaru was going to be fighting off against Victor, and Boruto and Sarada are going to be having a rematch against Deepa, which I cannot wait for. I cannot wait to see those fights next week. Now, for those of the Konohamaru fans out there, there's been a lot of people saying that Konohamaru, they don't like how Konohamaru is being treated. They think he should be doing more fighting, or he should be stronger or whatever. Look, guys, you guys you gotta accept the fact that Konohamaru, he's not Kage level. Even though his goal is to become Hokage, the guy's a joke. He's not Kage level. If he ever became the Hokage, the Hidden Leaf Village, he'll be a disgrace. Like, this guy he's not strong enough to be Hokage. Like, he's not. Like, seriously. I mean, Kakashi, he wasn't necessarily that strong when he became Hokage either, because he lost the Sharingan. He was still stronger than what Konohamaru is now. But point being, Victor, he destroyed Mujino and Konohamaru last time that they fought. And obviously, it was some people who was hoping that Konohamaru was going to fight off against Victor and actually have a good fight. But no, that's not happening. Not only did he get a little bit of chakra absorbed, but also the guy's just not Kage level. He's not doing anything to Victor. And inners of Korra, all of the Korra inners should be at least Kage level. I mean, not all of them are going to be as strong as Naruto and Sasuke, of course, but they should be at least Kage level. So Victor is going to need a Kage level opponent to fight, and Orochimaru is just the guy to do the job. I mean, Orochimaru is a legendary Sannin, and he's always been Kage level pretty much, and it's going to be interesting seeing him fight against Victor. Now, these are two Kage level opponents, two Kage level fighters, so it's going to be cool to see that fight. Now, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about the episode. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see a little bit of fighting, but as far as the rating, I'm going to give this episode, in terms of story, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I had to take off a point for the whole lackluster explanation of the divine tree thing, but at least we still got an explanation. And the art and animation was a standard 9 out of 10. So yeah, overall I'll say it was a 9 out of 10 episode. Another pretty good to great episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching.